Good day everyone, I'm Mariel Bautista and we're going to report about Module 8, the taxpayers. And after this lesson, we will going to understand and have knowledge on the computation and formulas on different types of taxes paid by an individual and businesses. The taxpayers. Number one is the citizen and the next one is the resident alien. Sa previous lesson natin, natakal na natin kung sino ba ang mga citizen and the resident aliens and kung kailan ba sila dapat ma-tax at hindi. Income tax on employment income. Number 1. The tax is on compensation income. According to the definition of revenue regulation, compensation income means all remuneration for services performed by an employee for his employer under an employer-employee relationship. So, the first point para magkaroon ng compensation is the relationship between the employer and employee relationship. So, nag-a-arise ang compensation once nga na meron ng relationship between employee and employer. So, basically, ang mga employee is the manggagawa, trabahador, na gumagawa para sa kanyang amo, which is the employer. Sabi din dito sa definition ng compensation income, it includes salary, wages, emoluments, and honoraria, allowances, commission, example, transportation, representation, entertainment, and the like. Fees including director's fee if the director is at the same time an employee of the employer corporation, taxable bonuses, and fringe benefits. Except fringe benefits subject to fringe benefits tax and allowed de minimis benefits, taxable pensions, and retirement pay. So, ang ibig sabihin lamang nito na kahit ano pa ang itawag natin sa mga sahod na ito, ang salaries, wages, emoluments, mga ganon, it is compensation pa rin. Kasi sa thinking ng mga manggagawa, kung ano lang yung sahod nila, yun lang yung gusto nila na ma-tax. Pero, ayon nga sa Revenue Regulation Code na kahit ano pa ang tawag dito, it is also subjected to tax. So, we have this income tax table under train law. We have the part 1 and the part 2. The part 1 is only applicable from year 2018 to 2022 and the part 2 is applicable for the year 2023 onwards. So these income tax tables are under train law. Kung i-compare natin siya sa part 1 and part 2, may mga pagbabagong nangyari. Ito kasi yung nagkaroon ng pagbabago dahil sa nagkaroon nga ng pandemic. So, in the annual income of 250,000 pesos and below, so same lang sila nung part 1 and part 2 na wala siyang tax. Then, the next one is from above 250,000 to 400,000. Sa part 1, 20% of excess over 250,000. Then sa bagong tax under train law, we have 15% of excess over 250,000. The next one is the above 400,000 to 800,000. Sa part 1, we have 30,000 plus 25% of excess over 400,000. Then, compared to the part 2, we have 22,500 plus 20% of excess over 400. We also have 800,000 to 2 million pesos. The tax will be 130,000 plus 30% of excess over 800,000 on the part 1. And on the part 2, we have 102,500 plus 25% of excess over 800,000. The next one is 2 million to 8 million. The tax is 490,000 plus 32% of excess over 2 million on the part 1, and on the part 2 we only have 402,500 plus 30% of excess over 2 million. And on the part 1, if the annual income is 8 million and above, it is computed as 2.41 million plus 35% of excess over 8 million in the part 1. And on the part 2, the annual income of 8 million, the tax rate is 2.25 million plus 35% of the excess over 8 million. So ito yung mga guide na gagamitin natin para makompute natin na maayos ang ating mga income tax. And in computation the income tax, we have the centavo rules na kapag ang centavo is above 50 cents, so sinasama ito sa computation and it will be considered as 1 peso. Pero pag below 50 cents naman ito, so hindi na ito sinasama sa computation. So that's all about my report, and let's proceed to the next reporter. Thank you for listening.
So, good day everyone. I am Crystal Joyce Dalayuan, and I will be discussing about the employee is a minimum wage earner. So, first, let me explain ano nga ba ang minimum wage earner. Minimum wage earner is worker who works for a private company and receives the legal minimum pay, or a public employee who receives compensation that does not exceed the legal minimum wage in the non-agricultural sector where the worker or employee is assigned. These statutory minimum wages are subject to income tax. The exemption also applies to hazard pay, night shift differential, and holiday pay. So, ang ibang term na ginagamit dito ay SMW, or Statutory Minimum Wage Earner. The same lang po sila with Minimum Wage Earner, or the MWE. So, at ano ba ang tinutukoy nitong MWE or SMW? So, ang ibig lang nitong sabihin, kung ikaw ay isang manggagawa or empleyado na nagtatrabaho either sa private or public sector, at ang kinikita mo ay statutory minimum wage, ikaw ay isang minimum wage earner. So, now, ano ba ang minimum? Paano natin masasabi na minimum ito? Kaya siya sinabi na statutory minimum kasi ang nagtatakda ng amount na yun ay yung batas, yung statute. So, it is by the law. So, pero hindi ito the same for all. So, hindi ito uniform sa lahat or nationwide. It depends on the region kung saan ka nagtatrabaho, at depende ito sa lugar kung saan ka nag-work. For example, ang minimum wage dito sa Nueva Ecija ay different from Pangasinan, NCR, NCL, Visayas, or Mindanao. So, it depends on the region. Merong nagtatakda, may nagsiset ng mga sahod na yan na dapat ito yung minimum, otherwise, pwede kang reklamo ng empleyado. So, according to Department of Labor and Employment, nakapaloob sa Labor Code of the Philippines. And I have an example here on how to compute income tax on a minimum wage earner. So, I have an illustration. So, Mr. A is a minimum wage earner with the following data in a year in Philippine money. So, compensation income salary niya is 132,000. Contribution to SSS, PhilHealth, and HDF is 5,000, and he has a 13-month pay of 11,000. So, the income tax is computed as follows. Compensation income, total of 132,000 in a year. So less mandatory contribution, 5,000. Exempt benefits na 11,000 dahil yun ay kanyang 13-month pay. So exempted po ang 13-month pay sa tax. Total of 16,000, ililess po natin siya sa 132,000 na kanyang compensation income in a year. So we only have 116,000 taxable income. Pero ang income tax niya po is 0 dahil siya po isang minimum wage earner, hindi pa po niya nare-reach yung dapat na earnings na mayroong tax. I have another illustration here po. And Mr. B is a minimum wage earner with the following data in a year. So, he has a compensation income of 132,000, overtime pay of 80,000, night shift differential 25,000. He has hazard pay din po na 18,000, holiday pay na 12,000, 13-month pay na 11,000, and contributions to SSS etc. 5,000. So the income tax is computed as follows. Compensation income 132,000, overtime pay 80,000, night shift differential pay he has 25,000, hazard pay he has 18,000, holiday pay 12,000, and 13-month pay of 11,000, and a total of 278,000. So exempt benefit is 13-month pay, so 11,000. Less mandatory contribution na 5,000, total of 16,000. So he has a taxable income na 262,000. So from that 262,000, so ang exempt po dun is 250,000. Ang taxable amount lang po ng kanyang income is 12,000. At 20% is 2,400. And the last one po is Mr. C is not a minimum wage earner. He had the following data in a year. Taxable compensation income is 280,000. 13-month pay and other benefits exempt from income tax is 105,000. SSS contribution etc. is 5,000. The income tax is computed as follows. So, he has a compensation income in a year na 280,000. Ililess po natin yung mandatory deduction na 5,000. Bali, ang taxable income niya po is 275,000. Pero, sa total po na yun, yung 250,000 po is exempt. Bali, less 275 less 250,000. Bali, yung 25,000 lang po yung taxable from sa income niya at 20% is equal to 5,000 po. So, that's all. Thank you.
Here is the first part of my report. Number 1, when the gross sales, receipts, and non-operating income for the year did not exceed. So, 3 million pesos, the tax is A, the 8% income tax. So, the formula for calculating the income tax under the 8% OSD is as follows. Taxable income equals gross income minus deductible expenses. So, income tax equals to 8% of taxable income. Okay, so here's an example to illustrate how the 8% income tax works in the Philippines. So, for example, let's say Mr. Cruz is a self-employed consultant with a gross income of 1 million pesos for the taxable year. So he has deductible expenses of 300,000 pesos for the same period. So using the formula above, we can calculate Mr. Cruz income tax. So taxable income equals to 1 million less or minus 300,000 pesos is equal to 700,000 pesos. So income tax is equal to 8% of 700,000 pesos is equal to 56,000 pesos. So Mr. Cruz would need to pay 56,000 pesos as income tax for a taxable year under the 8% income tax rate in the Philippines. Okay, so yes, the tax would be the 8% income tax if the gross sales, receipts, and non-operating income for the year did not exceed 3 million pesos. Here in the Philippines, businesses with gross sales receipts and non-operating income not exceeding 3 million pesos are subject to the 8% income tax. It's under the simplified taxation system for small businesses as provided by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. So, this simplified tax rate is a flat 8% of gross. Okay, so or sales receipts and non-operating income. So without the need to compute and file the detailed income tax returns. The 8% income tax rate is applicable to self-employed individuals and professionals who are not classified as employees. So this is commonly known as the 8% flat income tax rate or 8% optional standard deduction or OSD under the Philippine tax system. The OSD allows self-employed individuals and professionals to pay a fixed percentage of their gross income as income tax instead of itemizing their deduction. Okay, so here in the page, in addition, there will be percentage tax of 3%, and but the 8% tax cannot apply to any business that is subject to any of the other percentage taxes, or rather business taxes under the Title B of the tax code. So according to the tax code here in the Philippines, there will be a 3% percentage tax and the 8% tax cannot apply to any business that is subject to any of other percentage taxes under the Title B. As I said, as of the tax code, the accounting period, method of accounting, recognition of income and deductions, inventories, long-term contracts, and special rules for certain industries. Okay, so in the page B or the graduated income tax, here is the example. Let's say an individual has taxable income of 500,000 pesos for a tax year 2023. So step 1, taxable income is equal to 500,000 pesos. Also step 2, apply the applicable tax rates. So okay, up to 250,000 pesos is 0%. So equals to 0 over 250,000 pesos up to 400,000 pesos is 15% of the taxes or 15% of the excess over 250,000 pesos equals 15%. So 500,000 pesos less 250,000 pesos is equal to 37,500 pesos over 400,000 up to 800,000 is not applicable since the taxable income is not within this bracket. Okay, so um, over 400,000 pesos up to 800 pesos also not applicable, and also over 800,000 pesos up to 2 million also not applicable, and also over 2 million up to 8 million not applicable since the taxable income is within this bracket. Over 8 million not applicable since since taxable income is not within this bracket. So step 3, the um, total income tax payable is equal to 0 plus 37,500 pesos is equal to 37,500 pesos. Okay, so the individual's total income tax payable will would be 37,500 pesos based on the graduated income tax rates in the Philippines for tax year 2023.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria Eloisa Moral and I'm reporting the rules on the self-employed or professional. We have here the introduction. Self-employed individuals or professionals refer to those who work for themselves and are not considered employees of any company or organization. So they typically provide services or sell goods on their own and are responsible for managing their own businesses. And here are some important rules and regulations that apply to self-employed individuals or professionals in the Philippines. So first we have here registering with the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. So self-employed individuals or professionals are required to register with the BIR for tax purposes. And they need to obtain a certificate of registration or COR and a taxpayer identification number or TIN from the BIR. So registration should be done before the start of the business or practice. And the second one is filing and paying taxes. Self-employed individuals or professionals are required to file and pay their taxes on time. They are subject to different types of taxes such as income tax, value-added tax or VAT, and percentage tax. And depending on their gross sales or receipts and other factors. Failure to comply with tax obligations may result in penalties or fines. And the third one is keeping financial records. Self-employed individuals or professionals are required to keep accurate financial records of their businesses transactions, including sales, expenses, and their other financial transactions. This record should be kept for a minimum of 3 years from the close of a taxable year and may be subject to inspections by BIR. And the fourth one is obtaining permits and licenses. It depending on the nature of the businesses or profession. Self-employed individuals or professionals may be required to obtain permits or licenses from various government agencies such as Department of Trade and Industry or DTI or the Professional Regulation Commission PRC, and failure to obtain the necessary permits or licenses may result in penalties or fines. And also we have the fifth one is contributing to social security and other benefits. Self-employed individuals or professionals are required to contribute to the Social Security System or SSS and the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation or PhilHealth and the Home Development Mutual Fund or HDMF or Pag-ibig Fund. So, to avail of Social Security, healthcare, and housing benefits. And the sixth one is complying with other regulations. So, it is self-employed individuals or professionals may also need to comply with other regulations depending on their specific industry or profession. For example, professionals such as doctors, lawyers, or engineers may have additional requirements set by their respective professional boards or regulatory bodies. Okay, and the seventh one is renewing registrations and permits. So it is the self-employed individuals or professionals are required to renew their registrations and permits. So it's annually or as needed, depending on the specific requirements of their businesses or profession. Failure to renew registrations or permits on time may result in penalties and also or fines. And okay, and we are here on the last part, closing. It's important for self-employed individuals or professionals in the Philippines to familiarize themselves with the relevant rules and regulations and ensure compliance to avoid any legal or financial repercussions, or consulting with a qualified accountant, lawyer, or other professionals may be helpful in understanding and complying with the rules for self-employment in the Philippines. And that is all.
Good day everyone, I am Marina D. Narvaez and my topic for today is about the rules on the self-employed or professional when the gross receipts, gross sales, or non-operating income for the year exceeded 3 million pesos. So since na-discuss na ng ating previous reporter ang formula ng pag-compute sa 8% tax at graduated tax, i-discuss ko na lang dito yung illustration sa ating module. Meron tayong individual taxpayer na ang gross sales at receipts niya ay 1,800,000 pesos. At ang kanyang non-operating income ay 200,000 pesos. At ang cost and expenses niya ay 1,050,000 pesos. Kapag 8% income tax ang na-avail, ang formula dito ay i-add ang non-operating income sa gross sales and gross receipts, then i-less natin yung 250,000 pesos dahil nandun yung formula na under section 24 nagli-less ng 250,000 pesos. So sa ating module sa illustration, yung individual taxpayer ay merong gross sales receipts na 1,800,000 pesos. Then, i-add natin ang kanyang non-operating income na 200,000 pesos. Ang total niya ay 2 million pesos. Then, i-less natin yung 250,000 under section 24 na 250,000 pesos. Ang magiging taxable income niya ay 1,750,000 pesos. Dito tayo kukuha ng 8%. Kapag dinompute sa ating calculator, ang 8% ng 1,750,000 pesos ay 140,000 pesos. Then sa graduated income tax naman, since na-discuss na ng ating previous reporter about doon sa income tax table under train law, pag sinabi palang exceeded 3 million pesos ang income ng taxpayer, meron tayong addition na VAT or value added tax na tinatanggal sa kanyang taxable income. So, balik tayo sa graduated income tax. Ang formula naman dito ay ganun pa rin, pagsasamahin pa rin yung gross sales receipt sa non-operating income. Then, ang i-deduct natin dito ay yung cost and expenses. Hindi katulad sa 8% income tax na ang idinideduct ay yung 250,000 under section 24. Dito naman sa graduated income tax, ang idinideduct dito ay ang cost and expenses. So, dito sa ating illustration, yung taxpayer ay merong 1,800,000 pesos na gross sales receipts. Then, ang kanyang non-operating income ay 200,000 pesos. Then, ang magiging total nito ay 2 million pesos. Then, i-deduct natin ang kanyang cost and expenses na 1,050,000 pesos. Ang magiging taxable income ay 950,000 pesos. So, yung 950, pasok ito sa bracket na above 800,000 to 2 million. Ang magiging nito ay 130,000 pesos plus 30%. Then, yon sa 950,000 pesos, alisin natin yung 800,000. Ang magiging sagot dito ay 150,000 pesos. Dun sa 150,000, dun tayo kukuha ng 30%. Then, ang 30% ng 150,000 pesos ay 45,000. Tsaka natin i-add yung 130,000. 130,000 plus 45,000 equals 175,000. Iyon yung magiging income tax nung taxpayer na yon. So, meron pa tayong isang illustration sa ating module. Yung kay Mr. Z operates nightclub. Ang gross receipts niya ay 2 million pesos at ang kanyang non-operating income ay 200,000 pesos at ang cost and expenses ay 1 million pesos. So, ang magiging computation dito, since ang nightclub ay belongs to amusement tax, so hindi pwede dito yung 8%. So, ang gagamitin natin ay ang graduated income tax. Since na-discuss na ng previous reporter natin ang about dito, let us compute the income tax of Mr. Z. Ang gross receipts niya ay 2 million pesos. Add non-operating income, 200 pesos. A total of 2,200,000 pesos. Then, less natin ang cost and expenses na 1 million pesos. Ang taxable income niya ay magiging 1,200,000 pesos. So, ang tax rate ng 1,200,000 pesos ay nasa bracket na 800 to 2 million. Ang tax rate nito ay 130,000 plus 30% of excess over 800,000 pesos. So, yung 1,200,000, pag inalis natin yung 800, magiging 400,000 pesos na lang. So, dun sa 400,000 pesos, dun tayo magko-compute ng 30% dito. At ang 30% nito ay 120,000. Then, i-add natin yung 130,000 equals to 250,000. So, yun yung magiging income tax ni Mr. Z, 250,000 under the graduated income tax. That's all my report. This is Marina Narvaez reporting. Thank you.
Hello, Sir Franz. Gusto ko sanang i-clear yung topic ko about rules on self-employed or professionals and non-operating income for the year exceeded 3 million pesos. Ang gagamiting option sa pag-compute ng income tax niya ay ang graduated income tax at hindi niya pwedeng piliin ang 8% income tax dahil ang mga taxpayer na lampas sa 3 million pesos ang gross income ay dapat registered as VAT taxpayer. And I have here an example on how to compute income tax when the gross sales for the year exceeded 3 million pesos. Kapag ang gross sales niya ay 5,500,000 pesos, iless ang cost and expenses na 2 million pesos, Then, ang magiging taxable income niya ay 3,500,000 pesos. Dito natin kukomputin ang income tax niya according to tax table. Ang range niya ay on 2 million pesos. Alisin muna ang 2 million sa 3,500,000 pesos. Ang sagot ay 1,500,000 pesos. Then, kukunin natin yung 32% sa 1,500,000 pesos. Ang magiging sagot nito ay 480,000. Sa range ng 2 million to 8 million, ang tax rate niya ay 490,000 plus 32% of excess of 2 millions. So, ang magiging income tax nung taxpayer na yon ay 970,000 pesos. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Zarina Maydi Pulido and I will continue the discussion in filing of quarterly income tax returns. Sabi dito, individuals engaged in business or negosyo na anuman yung halaga ng benta ay kinakailangan maghain ng quarterly income tax returns for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and end of the year. Dito nga sa first quarter is on or before May 15 and the second quarter is on or before August 15. Third quarter is on or before November 15 and the end of the year is on or before April 15. And also, taxpayers can elect the 8% income tax rate in the first quarter income tax return or the initial quarterly return of the taxable year. Pagkatapos ngang magsimula yung bagong negosyo is si taxpayer is dapat nang ituring na nakapag-build ng graduated income tax. Such election shall be irrevocable or hindi na pwedeng bawiin and no amendment of the option shall be made for the said taxable year. Si taxpayer nga din na nag-elect ng 8% income tax is not required to attach financial statement of the final income tax return or end of the year. On the other hand, si taxpayer naman who elected the graduated income tax or who is required to be under the graduated income tax shall required to attach the income tax return financial statements. At kapag si taxpayer naman is kung yung gross sales or receipts niya is exceeded ng 3 million sa isang taon, the financial statements must be audited financial statements. Ito yung itsura ng BIR Form 1701Q or Quarterly Income Tax Return for Individuals na pwedeng isubmit through online using EBIR program ng BIR. Dito sa illustration, meron tayong cumulative data or sales for the year did not exceed 3 million pesos. Makikita natin yung gross sales and costs and expenses from quarter 1 to end of the year. Dito rin sa illustration is makikita natin yung computation if the choice is the 8% income tax. Dito naka-detail yung gross sales and yung deduction ng under section 24 na 250,000 pesos. First quarter nga is meron tayong gross sales na 800,000. Ililas lang natin yung 250,000 and same sa second quarter, 1,500,000 less 250,000. Third quarter, 2,100,000 less lang din natin na yung 250,000 and year end sa 2,900,000. Ililas lang din natin yung 250,000 pesos. And after nga natin masagutan or ma-minus yung 250,000 sa gross sales, makukuha natin dito yung 550,000 and then ita-times lang din natin yung 550,000 sa 0.08, then lalabas dito yung 44,000 pesos. Same sa second quarter na ang kinalabasan nga is 1,250,000, then ita-times lang din uli natin siya sa 0.08 at ang lalabas nga is 100,000 pesos, and ililess pa uli natin yung 44,000 na nakuha natin sa first quarter at lalabas nga dito yung 56,000 pesos. And the third quarter, 1,850,000 pesos times 0.08, 148,000 less the 44,000 pesos from the first quarter and less natin ulit yung 56,000 pesos from the second quarter. And last, the end of the year, 2,650,000 times 0.08, makukuha natin yung 212,000. Liless ulit natin yung first, second, and third quarter, which is yung matitira na nga lang is 64,000 pesos. And that's all my report. Thank you!
Good day everyone, I'm Christine Licodan and I will be reporting the mixed income earner. A mixed income earner has both compensation income from employment and income from business or profession. Ibig sabihin ito ay may parehong kita o kabayaran mula sa trabaho at kita mula sa negosyo o profesyon. Our rules. The rules is if the gross sales or receipts and non-operating income does not exceed 3 million, the formula are: una, the compensation income will be subject to the graduated rates. Ang kabayaran o kita ay magiging paksa mula sa nagtapos na mga rates. Pangalawa, the income from business or profession shall be taxed as follows. Ibig sabihin, ang kita mula sa negosyo o profesyon ay dapat buwisan gaya ng sumusunod, tulad ng gross sales receipts, kung saan ito ay ang kabuang kita. And then add non-operating income, ito naman ay bahagi ng kita ng isang organisasyon kung saan nagmula sa mga aktibidad na hindi nauugnay sa mga pangunahing operasyon. Taxable income, ito yung mga halaga ng iyong kita na maaaring buwisan at karaniwang mga uri ng kita na nabubuwisan ay ang mga sweldo, mga tips, or mga bonuses. And then yung last, income tax at 8%. The 250 is not available since it is already incorporated in the first tier of used in the graduated income tax rates applicable the compensation income earners. So yung 250,000 ay hindi magagamit dahil isinama na ito sa unang baitang na ginamit sa nagtapos na mga rate ng buwis na naangkop naman sa kabayaran ng mga kumikita. Yung pangalawang rules, if the gross sales receipts and non-operating income exceeds 3 million, the formula is compensation income and then add net income from the business or profession and then yung total taxable income and income tax at graduated rates. And may illustration po tayo dito, yung illustration in revenue regulation for a year of Mr. M. Ayan, compensation income including 13-hour month pay and other benefits of 120 but net of SSS and PhilHealth is 1,500. And then yung gross sales is 2,400. Cost of sales is 1 million. Operating expenses is 600,000 and non-operating income is 100,000. That's all. Thank you. Formula is compensation income and then add net income from the business or profession and then yung total taxable income and income tax at graduated rates. And may illustration po tayo dito, yung illustration in revenue regulation for a year of Mr. M. Ayan, compensation income including 13 are month pay and other benefits of 120 but net of SSS and PhilHealth is 1,500. And then yung gross sales is 2,400. Cost of sales is 1 million. Operating expenses is 600,000. And non-operating income is 100,000. That's all. Thank you.
A pleasant day. To continue the discussion given the illustration above, under rule number 2, that if the gross or sales, receipts, and non-operating income exceeds 3 million pesos. So, letter A, if Mr. M opted to pay the 8% income tax, the computations would be where it is given that the compensation income is 1.5 million. So, kailangan po nating ibawas yung mga tinatawag na 13-month pay o yung iba pang exempted benefits, which is 90,000 pesos. So, yung magiging taxable compensation income po nito ay 1,410,000. So, ang magiging income tax po at graduated rates ay magiging 313,000 pesos. Ngayon naman po sa ating gross sales ay magiging 2.4 million pesos. Ngayon dito po sa ating gross sales, kailangan po nating i-add yung mga non-operating income. So, ano nga po ba pag sinabi natin non-operating income? Ito po yung mga bahagi ng kita. Sinabi nga po ni Ma'am Likudan na kung saan yung isang organisasyon na nagmula sa mga aktibidades o mga hindi nauugnay na mga pangunahing operasyon sa negosyo. So, dito po ang idadagdag po natin sa gross sales na non-operating income ay 100,000 pesos. So, yung kanina po nating 2,400,000 ay magiging 2,500,000. So, ngayon po, yung income tax nito at 8% ay magiging 200,000 po. So, ngayon po, yung ating total income tax due ay equals to 513,000 pesos. So, as we can see in the illustration above, yung tinatawag po nating income tax at graduated rates o yung first 250,000 ay wala pa po yung tax, pero meron po itong per table of rates. So, as we can see po the arrow, there is no 250,000 deduction from gross sales. Sa kadahilanan po that the income tax on compensation income ay meron tayong nagamit na graduated tax. With the first line of the table, makikita po natin yung epekto nito kaagad sa pagpo-provide po ng exempt amount na 250,000 pesos. Still in rule number 2, under the mixed income earners, column B, now if Mr. M is not gonna pay for the 8% income tax, instead ang babayaran niya po ay yung graduated tax, ang magiging computation po natin is ating compensation in income, which is yung 1,500,000, ibabawas po ulit natin doon yung ating mga 13th month pay and yung iba pang mga exempted benefits natin, which is yung tulad din po sa letter A na 90,000 pesos. Ngayon po, ang kalalabasan din po ulit ng ating taxable compensation income ay 1,410,000. So, dito po sa ating gross sales ay ang ibabawas din po natin ngayon ay ang mga cost sales which is nagkakahalaga po ng 1 million. Ngayon yung ating gross income, which is 1,400,000, ay ibabawas po natin ngayon doon yung ating operating expenses na 600,000 and yung ating net income from operations, which is 800,000 pesos. And ngayon, idadagdag naman po natin yung non-operating income, which is 100,000 pesos. So, ang magiging taxable business income po natin ngayon ay 900,000 pesos. Ang magiging total taxable income naman po ay magiging 2,310,000. So, ngayon po, ang ating graduated rates or ang ating income tax na kailangang bayaran ni Mr. M ay 389,200 pesos. Again, mixed income earners are those who derive their income from businesses or their practice of profession. Some examples are those who take part-times or freelance jobs. So, when it comes to computing their tax due, there are two options available to them, which is the graduated income tax or the 8% flat income tax rate. While the BIR or the Bureau of Internal Revenue defines mixed income earners as those that engage in trade businesses or professions who are earning compensation income. So, in other words, they are full-time employee at a legitimate company who also is doing part-times or other job or side businesses or as a freelance.
Finally, income tax rates on certain passive income. Interest from any currency bank deposit and yield or other monetary benefit from deposit substitute and from trust funds and similar arrangement. 20%. Next is interest received by an individual except a non-resident individual from a depository bank under the expanded foreign currency bank. That bank deposit system is 15%. Next is royalties except royalties from books and other literary works and musical composition is 20%. Next is royalties on books and other literary works and composition is 10%. Price except prices amounting to 10,000 or less is 20%. Next is winning except Philippine charity sweepstakes winning amounting to 10,000 or less is 20%. Next is cash and property dividend is 10%. Capital gains from sale of shares of stock not traded and the stock exchange 15%. Next is capital gains from sale of real property located in the Philippines is 6%. Proceed of pre-terminated long-term depositor investment in the form of saving, common or individual trust fund, deposit substitutes, investment management accounts, and other investment evidenced by certificates in such form as prescribed by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, BSP, the final tax to be based on the remaining maturity of the investment. So, sabi po rito, ito yung pangmatagalan na pre-terminated na depositor ng pera. Sila din yung namumuhunan ng mababa lang ang puhunan at ipinapalit nila yung pondo na yun sa account na manggagaling sa BSP o sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Next is 4 years but less than 5 years, 5%. Next, 3 years but less than 4 years, 12%. And last is less than 3 years, 20%. Last is what the taxpayer receive is tax paid. Income already and the item of income need not be included anymore in the income tax return. Sabi rito is kung dito yung pera is kung ano yung natatanggap ng nagbabayad ng buwis is ganun din dapat yung ibabayad nila buwis. At kung item naman yung natatanggap nila, ang nakuha nila, item din yung ibabalik nila o ibabayad nila ang ibabalik nila. Yun lang po.
Hey. Good day everyone. I'm Jefferson Ragudos and will report to you on the part of Module 8 which is called the partnership. Okay. To begin with, let's define partnership. What is partnership? Partnership refers to a formal arrangement or relationship between two or more individuals or entities who come together to achieve a common goal or pursue a joint venture. Partnerships are typically formed for business, legal, or organizational purposes and involve the sharing of resources, responsibilities, risks, and rewards among the partners. O ano ba itong partnership na tinutukoy nito? Pero partnership ay tumutukoy sa isang formal na pagsasaayos o relasyon sa pagitan ng dalawa o higit pang mga individual o entidad na nagsasama-sama upang makamit isang lalayunin o ituloy isang joint venture. Ang mga pagkikapagsosyo ay karaniwang nabubuo para sa negosyo, legal o mga layunin pang organisasyon at kinabibilangan ng pagbabahagi ng mapagkukunan, responsibilidad, panganib, ito yung pagkalugi, gantimpala, syempre ito yung kita sa mga kasosyo. Okay? Then, we have two kinds of partnerships for income tax purposes. Okay, meron tayong dalawang uri ng partnership para sa income tax purposes. Ito yung isa, no? General profession partnership. Sa partnership form for the practice of common profession, no part of the income of which is derived from engaging trade or business. So, ito general professional partnership ay isang pakikipagsosyo na nabuo para sa pagsagawa ng isang karaniwang profesyon na walang bahagi ng kita na nakukuha mula sa pagkalakalan ng negosyo. O ito yung profession o yung services o wala silang nilalabas na puhunan, no? Para na bilang kapital nila, kundi yung kanila mismong serbisyo. Halimbawa, no, mga sabihin natin mga doktor, no? Doktor na eksperto sa sabihin natin eksperto sa sa internal organs ng tao, sa pag-oopera. Okay? So, pwede siya makipag-partner naman sa isang doktor na espesyalista naman sa pagsasaksak ng anesthesia or anesthesiologist. So, services or skills yung tinutukoy sa pag-ano nito na pag-partner. Okay? General professional partnership is not subject to income tax, but the individuals who compose it are taxable on their shares in the partnership net income, whether distributed or not, called distributable or constructively received by the partner from partnership. Okay? Isang pangkalatang profesional na pagsusosyo ay hindi napapailalim sa buwis sa kita. Ngunit, ang mga individual na bumubuo nito ay nabubuwisan sa kanilang mga bahagi sa netong kita na pagipagsosyo. Pinamamahagi man o hindi, tinatawag na distributable o nakakabuti na nakatatanggap. Constructively received ng kasosyo mula sa pagipagsosyo. Okay. So, in arriving at the net income of the general professional partnership, the rules on gross income and deductions of corporations will apply. The partnership may deduct from its gross income either, yung sinasabi na, sa netong kita na pangkalatang profesional na pakikipagsosyo, ang mga patakaran sa kabuang kita at mga pagbabawas ng mga korporasyon ay ilalapat. Okay? Income deduction of corporation will apply. Maaaring ibawas ng partnership mula sa pambangkita nito. Number 1, the itemized deductions for expenses and losses, o yung itemized deductions para sa mga gastos o pagkalugi. Ito ay sinasabi mo kanina na risk, pagkalugi. Okay, pangalawa, optional standard deduction at 40% of its gross income. Okay. A general professional partnership and the partners comprising such partnership may avail of the optional standard deduction only once, either by the general professional partnership or the partners comprising the partnership. Okay? May isang pangkalatang professional partnership ay pakikipagsosyo at ng mga kasosyo na binubuo ng naturang pakikipagsosyo ay maaaring mag-avail ng optional na pamantayan na isang beses lamang alinman sa pamamagitan ng pangkalatang profesyon pakikipagsosyo ang mga kasosyo na binubuo ng pakikipagsosyo. Okay. So sa general profession partnership general partner, so ito yung binanggit ko kanina na optional standard deduction with itemized deductions. Case number 2, itemized deductions with optional standard deduction. So sa ating illustration, from assumed data for general profession partnership, so let's presume na yung kanilang gross income sa kanilang partnership is umabot ng 400,000. Then sa 400,000 less optional standard deduction, which is sinabi kanina na 40%. So yung 40%, 40% ng gross income nilang 400,000 is 160,000. Okay? So, yun yung optional deduction nila. So, 400,000 less 160,000 is equal to 240,000. So, itong 240,000, ito yung tinatawag na distributable net income. Okay? Income na paghati nila na hindi subject sa tax. Partner A. Okay. So, sa share in partnership distributable income at so dalawa sila, hinati sa yung 240,000 hinati sa dalawa. Okay, equals to 120,000. Okay, so kung may own gross income sila na 600,000. Okay, the less mo yung own expenses or itemized deductions na sinasabi ka rin na nalugi sila, let's say nalugi na 240,000, so lumalabas siya na 360,000, no? Then i-add mo tong 120,000 na distributable net income nila is 480,000, no? So itong 480,000 ito yung tinatawag na taxable income nila. So ang magiging income tax ito at graduated rate is 50,000. Okay, so paano ba nakuha itong 50,000 na to? So, paano na nag-derive dyan? So, ganito yan. Okay, next slide. Okay, in the Philippines, income tax at graduated rates would be calculated based on tax rates defined by the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion, o yung tinatawag na train law. So, ano ba sinasabi sa train law? Okay? So, sabi na, income up to 250,000 is taxed at 0%. So, doon sa 480,000 kanina, no? Yung income up to 250,000. So, walang income. Okay? Then, income over 250,000, up to 400,000 is taxable at 20%. So, this means na yung 400,000, i-deduct mo tong 250,000, no, kasi walang income, walang tax pa to, equals to 150,000. So, 20% of 150,000 is equals to 30,000. So, may natitira pa tayo na 80,000. Okay? So, income over 400,000 up to 480,000 is tax at 25%. So, ba kanina, 250 plus 150,000 is 400,000. Okay, so may natitira pang 80,000. Ito ngayon is itinatax by trade law at 25%. So, equals to 80,000. 25% of 80,000 is 20,000. So, magiging kabuuan na taxable income of 480,000 at graduate rate. Okay? So, ito yun kanina, yung 250,000 na walang tax is 0. Kasunod, yung 20% na 150,000 is 30,000. 25% na 80,000 is 20,000. Okay? So, pag sama-samahan, equal to 50,000 yung income tax at graduate rate na nandun sa ating illustration kanina. Okay? So, partnership, ito yung pangalawang uri ng partnership para sa income tax purposes. Okay? Partnership that is not a general professional partnership. Okay, ito yung partnership na sa trade, okay, kipagkalakalan. Okay? So, sinasabi na rito, so number 1, a partnership that is not a general partnership, partnership in trade is taxable as a corporation. Okay? Isang partnership na hindi isang pangkalatang partnership, halimbawa, partnership sa kalakalan, okay, ay nabubuwisan bilang isang korporasyon. Okay. Pangalawa, the share in the net income after tax, net income less income tax belongs to the partners. Okay. Ang bahagi sa netong kita, pagkatapos ng buwis, net income less income tax, ipag-aari ng mga kasosyo. Okay. Number 3, a partner will report his share into as dividend income. Okay, iulat na isang kasosyo ang kanyang bahagi sa dalawa bilang kita sa dividendo. So, ating illustration. Okay, assume partners share equally in the partnership net income or net loss. Okay, so si partner CD, okay, so yung share nila is to 400,000. Okay. Then, sa 40,000 na to, diba, sabi nga kanina, yung 400,000, sabi nga sa trade law kanina is up to 400,000. Okay, diba, yung is at 30%, so 400,000 less income tax sa 30% equal to 120,000. So magiging distributable income nilang dalawa is 280,000. Okay? 400,000 less 120,000 is 280,000. So ngayon, sabi ito sa pangatlo, a partner will report his share into as dividend income. Okay, so si partner C and partner D, okay, so ito yung dividend income nila, 280,000 divided by 2. Okay, so magiging 140,000 ang magiging parte ni partner C at partner D. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so thank you classmates for listening. I hope may na pick up tayo. Thank you again.